From the Philippines to the halls of Oxford, this law graduate with high honors is proving that determination knows no borders. Her journey is inspiring a new generation of Filipinos to believe that we can achieve greatness no matter where we come from. Joining us today to share her story is Jimenez. Also with us is Isla Campbell. Is that right? I pronounced it right? Isla Campbell, with first-class honors in history. Wow, from the same university. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. What does it feel like to graduate? You are the first Filipina to graduate with honors.
I know. I don't know
Oxford.
how this was even found out, but it means a lot to me personally to be the first Filipina. I think my dad has always reminded me every time I went through a new life experience, to always remember my family at home.
Yeah.
He always says the number one thing to remember is once you achieve stuff to give back and always talk to your family about it and continue to celebrate with family. So it means a lot to be the first law graduate from Oxford.
Yeah, but before we move on with the story, you're best friends.
Yes.
Yes,
Right?
from the start of university.
Tell us your story.
Yeah, you were talking about it, so go ahead, Isla.
So I arrived on the first day, obviously very scared, 18, don't know what university, don't know what to expect, and I open the door to the accommodation and I see Anna, and we look at each other, and from then on, we've been joined at the hip, lunch together every day, study together every day, and now we're here.
Yeah, people don't know one without the other.
Yeah.
So you're taking up, what are you taking up right now?
She graduated.
Yeah, so I
Graduated.
graduated, I'm about to start, I graduated history and now I'm doing a politics master's in Paris.
Oh, okay.
So
In Paris?
Yes.
Wow, these
Yeah.
empowered women. I'm so honored to be with them. But what were some of the biggest challenges you faced during your studies there in the UK? We all know it's not rainbows and sunshines, right? Can you share us with?
I think a lot of people at Oxford suffer from imposter syndrome. Especially also when I joined, I didn't know many people from my school, and also a lot of Filipinos, I didn't know any. And so you're surrounded by people without really empathizing with them or them understanding exactly what you've gone through or your own story. And it feels like, oh, I don't know whether I belong here compared to someone else. But I think the best thing about me and Isla is we just became best friends.
Yeah.
So
we always had each other.
Yeah, whenever one of us was sad or felt like we didn't belong or we had to work harder, we had
Each other.
Just across the next room, yeah.
Was there a time any of you guys just wanted to quit,
I think so, definitely.
Oh, both of you, huh?
Yeah, we've come to each other and been like, I can't do this anymore. But I think it was nice to know that everyone in Oxford were all in the same boat, and it's a community, it's a college system, it's a community, so no matter what, I could always go to Anna, I could always go to my college community, and everyone would say, you're going to be fine, you're going to be all right.
Right.
It
It
on
happens.
pushing,
It happens.
You're human,
Yeah, right. But I was wondering, you were born here, but you were raised in
the UK.
In the UK, so you're familiar with what's happening here in the Philippines, even though, right?
Yeah.
So my question would be, were there a particular case or concept during your studies that somehow mirrored the injustice here in the Philippines?
Yeah, actually, my specific area of law that I'm interested in is public international law.
Interesting.
So I have a really wide interest in a lot of maritime laws, things to do with shipping, etc. Obviously, the breadth of what I study then encompasses a lot of crisis in Asia, America, including partially some issues to do with the Philippines. Like, my dream is to practice in front of the ICJ, represent states, and things like that. So I think the fact that I have an upbringing and a family from another country has informed my understanding of international law, and my ability to sort of understand that there's differences and nuances in legal systems across the world, especially in the Philippines as well.
Right.
So I guess you were on top of the West Philippine Sea issue.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's not obviously concentrated on Filipino issues, my studies, but even in my exams, I could bring the Philippines up as a case study or an example, because I'd have the sort of individual knowledge that wouldn't be taught in my degree.
But I'd like to ask, moving forward, do you guys plan to share the same firm eventually in the future?
That's hard. I mean, if only.
Yeah, I know. I mean, our dream, we want to live together. Yeah. We planned this already.
We look up flats every day.
Yeah.
But I think because you're doing international law and I plan on doing something in the
totally
political...
different.
Yeah, but I plan on doing something in the political realm, so maybe our paths can
Yeah,
converge.
exactly.
You know, they always
not?
tend on doing that.
Well, it's an era of collaboration.
Yeah,
We'll see what
exactly.
happens in the future, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of
What
time.
made you guys choose the paths you're talking? I mean, there's so much to choose from.
Yeah.
Easier paths.
I don't know. I think
I can speak for both of us to say
Yeah.
that we're perfectionists and we're very ambitious. And I think once we saw that goal of, you know, Oxford, let's do that. That's kind of a golden route that we can take. We set our eyes on it, and I think we're the same in that light. That we just would push until we.
And also, I guess at school in the UK, it's kind of the ultimate goal for university for two girls who were good at academics and who worked really hard.
Like a debate.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's immediately why I thought that that's where I want to apply, but I never knew for sure that it would happen.
But in relation to what you see, what you guys see, what's happening around the world now in terms of social issues, injustices, what would you like to change eventually? I mean, a lot of lawyers out there who have aged finely have had their advocacies. What would you guys see yourselves doing as an advocacy?
I mean, personally, I think that in international law, one of the biggest issues is that states haven't all developed or grown equally. And so, despite the fact that you have principles like sovereign equality and states should all be treated equally, really, you end up getting countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, whose voices are going to shine much louder than somewhere like the Philippines. So I think just having advocates who are at the same level as someone who's practicing for the States or representing the United States, and having an advocate for a smaller state that knows everything there is about international law, so that these weaker countries aren't left sort of behind and unable to say their opinion or say their voices on that kind of fora.
Wow. What about you, Isla?
Well, I think coming from a background, entering politics and coming from a background of history, I think that's really important because, you know, you can't go into the future without looking at the past. And I think it's so important to know what's occurred to then move forward and have a kind of ready knowledge of what's worked and what hasn't and how we can collaborate and how collaboration has succeeded or failed in the past. And I think I'm specifically looking at diplomacy and looking at, I will hopefully be studying how we can successfully collaborate as different countries and different states, or you know, the business world and the UN and different forms of international organizations. So I think, you know, both of those things.
Interesting what you guys are talking about. You're talking about all countries should be, eventually in a perfect scenario, all of them should be looked at equally with equal voices. But I'd like to ask you, I think the US is going in a different direction of isolating themselves from the world. So what are your take on that issue? Do you agree that they need to recover? That's what the Republicans are saying. They need to recover. So therefore, let's isolate ourselves first from the world, then we go back to diplomacy.
I mean, I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people within a state, especially one like the US, which has such sort of civic pride, want to sort of focus on their own issues before looking out into how they interact with other states in the world. And I think there's obviously merit in wanting your own state and feeling a certain attachment to your state and wanting it to improve. But at the same time, they should be cognizant, I think, that no one exists in a bubble, no state does. And so, at the same time, I'm sure that collaboration is also something that can happen at the same time as focusing on internal issues.
Would you like to add?
Yeah, from a political standpoint. By the way, are you going to be lobbying in the future?
I mean, who knows?
It could be a perfect combination. Go ahead,
Well, I think, again, from my historian standpoint, I think the world has always been a better place, where specifically the US, it knows I'm a 20th century historian, so when there's been that power, it's a powerful force and it has the power to make such positive change. And I hope, I mean, from our standpoint, just as two students, we were kind of reticent to look at the US as an option for our postgraduate studies now. And that's just like a small example of kind of a sad thing that's happened that, you know, could be could be changed if there was a more open atmosphere.
Right, right. Now, well, we are in completely awe with what you guys have achieved,
Truly,
and you're going to be achieving in the future. What advice can you give to women like you who would want to study in top universities as well, or dreaming to, to study as well?
I would say, as a girl, especially if you're in a class, maybe if you feel like you're a bit shy, or if you're in a class with all boys, never be afraid to put your hand up and never be afraid to express your opinion and push through and persevere, even if you think, maybe I'm not good enough, because that will come across so many times in your life, the thought, maybe I'm not good enough. You are, and you can do it.
Wow. Yeah, and I'd say, I think it's said a lot by our tutors, women especially tend to second guess everything they say before, as opposed to being confident and not being afraid of being incorrect, because everyone is always incorrect every so often. So I think just being bold and saying things that may not be right or correct the first time will always set you in good stead and let your ideas develop without feeling inhibited.
I also think just work hard, because my mum always used to tell me this one phrase that I've kept really close throughout my university experience, that is, lucky people work hard.
Yeah, exactly. And be loud and...
But before, I'd like to ask, of course, Oxford, right? But there are other law schools out there that are equally great. But what makes Oxford stand out from, you think, others that suits what you need in life?
I think, so the system of teaching at Oxford is quite unique. It's the tutorial system. So instead of classes and lectures, you have one-on-one or two-on-one conversations with a professor, who obviously one part of Oxford is that they're going to be a professor who's at the top of their field, and you get an opportunity where they sit there with you for an hour and give you the chance to say your own ideas and your own thoughts.
So it's actual mentoring.
Yes, and you have to defend your ideas to this really intelligent academic who's practiced for 30 years. And so it's really unique in that it's one-on-one or two-on-one, and you don't really get that elsewhere.
And sometimes you've had a week to write an essay, you don't really know what you're talking about, and you have to go into the meeting and go, I know what I'm talking about. So it kind of teaches you how to waffle.
Well, that's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Along the way. But we'll be keeping an eye on both of you.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you.
Especially in the international scene. We're very excited for the both of you. But, thank you so much for joining us today. We are very proud of you guys, Anna Jimenez and Isla Campbell, for sharing your stories with us.
Thank you.
Have you explored the Philippines? Did you bring her?
I brought her to El Nido. She has to go to more places.
Fantastic.
What about Filipino food?
Yes. Oh.
What's your favorite?
Hello, hello.
It's cold weather.
I thought you were going to say balut.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.